Imagine this. Your wife spends 10 minutes telling you about her exhausting day. She talks about feeling overwhelmed, underappreciated, mentally drained, and emotionally exhausted. The moment she finishes speaking, you confidently respond, "Here's what you should do." You begin offering practical solutions. Organize your schedule, delegate more tasks, ignore negative people. Sleep earlier, create a better routine. From your perspective, you've just been helpful. From her perspective, she feels unheard, not because your advice was wrong, but because your timing was. One of the greatest mistakes many husbands make is assuming that every difficult conversation is a problem waiting to be solved. In reality, many conversations are hearts waiting to be understood. There is an old Swedish proverb that says, "Shared joy is double joy. Shared sorrow is half sorrow." Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say sorrow disappears because someone solved it. It says sorrow becomes lighter because someone shared it. That simple truth has the power to transform a marriage. Greetings all Guild members around the world. Today we shall be looking into the second law in our ongoing series of the 10 best timeless secrets every married man must know. And the title of the second law is, Seek Understanding Before You Offer Solutions. But before then, may I ask you to please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Also tap on the notification bell so you get informed whenever we drop a new video. We would also appreciate your comments. Thank you. Now, as a first point of note, let's try to understand why this law changes everything. Most men are naturally wired toward action. When something breaks, they fix it. When something fails, they repair it. When someone presents a problem, they instinctively search for the fastest solution. That mindset is incredibly valuable in business, engineering, leadership, and crisis management. But marriage operates by different rules. Your wife is not your latest project. She is your life partner. And sometimes the greatest gift you can offer her is not your expertise. It is your presence. Research from relationship experts, including Dr. John Gottman and Dr. Sue Johnson, has consistently shown that emotionally secure marriages are built on responsiveness. Partners who feel heard, validated, and emotionally understood report stronger trust, deeper intimacy, and greater long-term satisfaction than couples who focus only on solving practical problems. The mature husband understands this distinction. Before asking, "How do I fix this?" he asks, "What is my wife really trying to tell me?" Second point, the difference between hearing and understanding. Every husband hears, not every husband understands. Hearing happens through the ears. Understanding requires the mind, the heart, and undivided attention. Many wives say things that sound simple on the surface. "I'm tired. You've been busy lately. We hardly spend time together. I'm fine." The inexperienced husband hears only the words. The mature husband listens for the meaning beneath them. Sometimes "I'm tired" means I'm carrying too much by myself. Sometimes "you've been busy lately" means I miss feeling important to you. Sometimes "we hardly spend time together" means I'm afraid we're growing apart. And perhaps the most misunderstood phrase in marriage is, "I'm fine." Experienced husbands know that these words often invite a deeper, more compassionate conversation rather than a quick acceptance. An old Chinese proverb wisely teaches, to know the road ahead, ask those coming back. The husbands who have enjoyed decades of healthy marriages will tell you the same thing. Listen beyond the words. For example, let's consider this case of a conversation between a couple about laundry that was never about laundry. After dinner, Angela quietly says, "I've been doing everything around this house by myself lately." Immediately, her husband Daniel becomes defensive. "I took out the trash yesterday. I mowed the lawn. I fixed the sink. I've been working overtime." Within minutes, they're arguing over who contributes more. But the laundry was never the issue. Angela wasn't asking for an inventory of completed chores. She was expressing emotional exhaustion. The next evening, Daniel approaches the conversation differently. Instead of defending himself, he asks, "When did you start feeling this way?" Angela begins to cry. She explains that she hasn't had a full day to herself in months. She misses laughing together. She feels like they've become business partners instead of husband and wife. Suddenly, the conversation changes, not because Daniel had a brilliant solution, but because he finally discovered the real problem. On a third note, let's look at why validation is not the same as agreement. Many husbands hesitate to validate their wives because they fear it means admitting fault. It doesn't. Validation simply means acknowledging that another person's emotions make sense from their perspective. You can disagree with a conclusion while still respecting the emotion behind it. Imagine your wife says, "I felt embarrassed when you interrupted me in front of our friends." "You're overreacting. That's not what happened." A mature husband would own his mistake and apologize. The mature husband would say, "I didn't realize it affected you that way, but I can understand why you felt hurt." Please notice the difference. The second response doesn't surrender his dignity. It demonstrates empathy. And empathy is one of the strongest builders of emotional trust. Now, let's look at what research reveals. Decades of marital research point to a consistent pattern. Couples who respond to each other's emotional bids, like in small moments when one partner seeks attention, comfort, or connection, tend to enjoy more stable and satisfying marriages over time. These bids are often subtle: a wife commenting about her stressful day, a sigh after finishing household chores, a quiet request to spend time together, a simple question like, "How was your day?" Every one of these moments presents a husband with a choice: turn toward her or turn away. The healthiest marriages are built on thousands of moments where husbands choose connection over distraction. Let's take another case: 15 minutes that saved a marriage. Yark was a successful entrepreneur. His business was thriving. His income had doubled. He believed he was giving his family everything they needed. One evening, his wife quietly said, "I miss you." Mark immediately replied, "But I'm doing all this for us." She smiled politely, but inside she felt invisible. Several weeks later, during a marriage retreat, Mark heard one sentence that changed his perspective forever: presence cannot be replaced by provision. That evening, he made one decision. Every night, he would put away his phone for 15 uninterrupted minutes. No emails, no business calls, no television, just conversation. At first, those 15 minutes felt ordinary, but months later, they became the strongest part of their marriage. The issue had never been money. It had been emotional availability. Sixth point of note: the power of curious questions. Great husbands ask better questions. Instead of assuming, they explore. Instead of defending, they discover. Consider replacing these common responses. Instead of, "What's wrong now?" try saying, "Help me understand what you're feeling. You're making this a bigger issue than it is." Try saying, "Tell me what this situation means to you." "I already apologized." Try saying, "What can I do to help rebuild your trust?" Questions open doors, assumptions close them. As an Ethiopian proverb reminds us, the one who asks questions cannot lose the way. Point number 7, the husband who makes his wife feel understood. Every wife wants many things in marriage: respect, security, affection, partnership. But beneath all of those lies a deeper longing: to be known, to feel that the man she married genuinely understands who she is becoming, not just who she was on their wedding day. The husband who cultivates that understanding creates a home where honesty flourishes. His wife no longer feels she must hide disappointment, fear, or frustration. She knows she will be met with curiosity instead of condemnation. That emotional safety becomes one of the greatest strengths of the marriage. Point number 8, practical habits every husband should develop. Understanding your wife is a lifelong practice, not a one-time achievement. Strengthen that habit by giving her your full attention before offering advice, listening without interrupting, asking thoughtful follow-up questions, reflecting back what you heard before responding, validating her emotions even when your perspectives differ, looking for the deeper need behind the immediate complaint. Remembering that some conversations require your ears more than your expertise. These small habits, repeated consistently, create extraordinary marriages. Now, as we conclude on the second law in these series, here's the lesson to remember. An old West African proverb says, "The ruin of a nation begins in the homes of its people." The opposite is also true. Strong families begin with strong conversations, and strong conversations begin with one husband choosing understanding over assumption. A wife who feels understood finds it easier to trust. A wife who feels heard finds it easier to communicate honestly. A wife who feels emotionally safe is more likely to face life's challenges as your partner rather than your opponent. Understanding is not the end of conflict. It is the beginning of genuine teamwork. Now, before we round up, let me chip in this as a prelude to law number 3. Once a husband learns to master his emotions and truly understand his wife, another challenge emerges. Even the best listeners can damage a marriage. If they begin treating disagreements as battles to be won, the wisest husbands understand a timeless truth: your wife is never the enemy. The problem is, and learning that distinction may be one of the greatest turning points in any marriage. That is where we go next in Law Number 3. Never turn your wife into the enemy. Thank you for watching. Please, if you found value in this message, do well to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumb up, and share it with your loved ones. Remember to tap on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future episodes. We deeply appreciate your support. Bye for now.